Sunday, April 3rd, 2011, the centerpiece of the Gulfstream Park season, the $1 million Florida Derby, saw 8 3-year-olds tackling that mile and an eighth distance for their final prep race ahead of the Kentucky Derby the first Saturday in May. The field looked like this. Right at the top, number 1, Soldat, the morning line favorite, as well as the 8-5 betting favorite, To Honor and Serve, trained by Bill Mott, trying to rebound from a disappointing third-place finish in the Fountain of Youth. Long shots, Arch Traveler, Bowman's Causeway, and Shackelford. Todd Pletcher putting blinkers on the Gotham winner, Stay Thirsty. Dialed In, trained by Nick Zito, who won this race last year, along with owner Bob LaPinta. Dialed In won the Holy Bull last time out. And Flashpoint, much conversation about Flashpoint, the assumed pace setter heading into the Florida Derby, although when the gates open, that's not what happened. Here's the call with Larry Combs.
They're off in the Florida Derby. And it's Arch Traveler who goes out to the early lead. To Honor and Serve on the inside now comes on through, and he's going to set the pace to the turn. Arch Traveler's right there. Shackelford, Flashpoint did not make the lead. He's fourth to the outside, and Soldat is right in behind horses on the rail, running in fifth position. Then Stay Thirsty. Bowman's Causeway is only 4.5 lengths off the lead as they make their way to the backstretch, and Dialed In is well off the pace here. He's 14 behind. The first quarter was 23-1. So it's long shot Shackelford and Jesus Castagnon who take the initiative as they go up the backstretch, and To Honor and Serve is 3/4 of a length behind. Flashpoint is third, right in behind the leaders. Then Arch Traveler, who's outside of Soldat, and now they're 5 lengths off the lead. Stay Thirsty and Bowman's Causeway are right behind. Dialed In is 14 lengths off this pace, and the pace is solid of 46 1/2 mile, less than a half mile to go. Shackelford is the leader as they move into the turn. Now To Honor and Serve is guided right to the outside of him. He's a neck back. Flashpoint is running in third. Soldat is fourth at the rail. And then it's Arch Traveler. Dialed In is beginning his move. He's about to go by Stay Thirsty. Dialed In is still about 7 lengths off the lead. And then it's Bowman's Causeway. 3/4 in 1, 10 3. They're coming to the top of the stretch. And Shackelford, trying to pull off a big upset, is in front in the Florida Derby. To Honor and Serve. Dialed In is coming with his giant strides on the far outside. Still has to get to Shackelford. Shackelford still there. Dialed In coming after him. Shackelford, the race of his life. Dialed In's got him. Dialed In won the Florida Derby. Shackelford was right with him on the wire. To Honor and Serve and Flashpoint.
Well, Flashpoint was nowhere near the early lead, nor was Soldat, but Dialed In did his thing. He ran to his form that he showed in the Holy Bull earlier this year, rallying from far back in the pack to nail 60-1 pace setter Shackelford in the shadow of the wire. Shackelford looked like he had a chance to spring a huge upset in mid-stretch, but he was noticeably tiring, trying to drift out a bit through the last 3/16 of a mile, and just could not hold on with Jesus Castagnon. Dialed In, the first Florida Derby victory for jockey Julian Leperoux, and it makes back-to-back victories now in the Florida Derby for owner Bob LaPinta and trainer Nick Zito. They won it last year with Icebox, and it was almost a deja vu situation. If you recall, Icebox rallied from far back to win also in a photo finish over a long shot in Pleasant Prince. Icebox himself, though, was a big price last year. Dialed In, the 5-2 second choice in this year's running of the Florida Derby. There you see the prices. Keep in mind, Dialed In now is eligible for that Preakness 5.5. The new $5.5 million bonus that would now go to Dialed In by virtue of his victories in the Holy Bull and now the Florida Derby, if Dialed In were to add the Preakness stake. Zito has in the past displayed a propensity to run in the Derby, skip the Preakness, and wait for the Belmont. That might change this year. The running time, 150.07, slow by Florida Derby standards. It was a disappointing performance for third place To Honor and Serve, especially disappointing for the favorite, the 8-5 favorite Soldat, off the board, finishing behind the sprinter Flashpoint, even though Flashpoint raced wide and failed to make the early lead. The Florida Derby now in the books. Join us next week, Saturday, April 9th, for our webcast of the Wood Memorial and early Kentucky Derby favorite Uncle Mo. We'll also show you a preview of the Santa Anita Derby. Then on Saturday, April the 16th, join us for the Toyota Bluegrass Stakes, followed on Saturday, April 23rd by the Lexington Stakes, also from Keeneland, and including a preview of the Kentucky Derby. Thanks for clicking on NTRA.com, and as always, thanks for having internet.